It's Super Sunday. It's a double-header watch-along here. It's Brighton and Hove Albion hosting Manchester City as Brighton yet to pick up a win in the Premier League so far. City reeling from that defeat at home against Thomas Frank's Tottenham Hotspur, looking to bounce back here, and we're off and running at the Amex Stadium. Well, pressure already, isn't it, on Manchester City after that disappointing home defeat, and now Pep Guardiola wasting no time to reintegrate Rodri at the base of midfield for Manchester City. As for Fabian Hertzler and Brighton, they've played well, haven't they? They got rocked very late on against Fulham in that first game where Rodrigo Muniz pretty much scored at the last kick of the game. Heartbreak for them. They didn't recover as Everton played them off the park. The 2-0 loss there, so it's a tough game here against Manchester City. They did beat City at this very ground last season. A come-from-behind victory with Hinchelwood scoring the winner. And James Trafford remains in City goal. They have made a big change, courtesy of Pep Guardiola, shuffling his backline with Matheus Nunes coming in at right back for Rico Lewis and Abdulkadir Kusanov replacing the experienced Ruben Diaz. Ednori on the left-hand side had picked up that injury and had to come off against Spurs. Good to see him back in the action here. Here's Reinders, who had one of the debuts to remember against Wolves, but that quickly changed and turned against Spurs, didn't it, where he learned some harsh lessons. But now he's got Rodri next to him, and that just improves everyone around the team. Here's Marmoush on the left-hand side, combining with Aït-Nouri. Good defending by Weltman. Baleba helping out. So is Minter. Here's Marmoush. Here's Reinders. Thought about the clip pass. Here's Stones now, who keeps his place. Pep Guardiola, a big fan of John Stones. Didn't feature heavily last season. Now seems to have started the season with a good amount of fitness. On the right-hand side, here's Nunes. Good defending there early on. There's Joel Weltman, who's just come across to make that challenge on Tijani Reinders, who had that goal and 2 assists against Wolves on debut as Manchester City romped to a 4-0 victory against Wolverhampton Wanderers on match week 1. Since then, the opinion of City has changed. It's an opportunity here for Brighton. They'll be under the pump. Not easy facing Manchester City, especially when they're travelling here. Fabian Hertzler going with the front three of Danny Welbeck, Yakuba Minte and Cairo Mitoma. Dynamic front three for Brighton and Hove Albion. A lot of eyes will be on Carlos Baleba in midfield. He was subject to a heavy transfer move to Manchester United, wasn't he? But Fabian Hertzler coming out and being emphatic in his response that the star midfielder would not be sold in the summer, but he is someone that they'll have to keep an eye on as Bernardo Silva commits the first foul here. For Brighton, the two centre-half pairing of Lewis Dunk, the skipper, and Paul Van Hecke as the pass is errant. City not applying too much pressure there. See, Oscar Bob is not holding the width on that right-hand side. We'll see Matheus Nunes up and down the touchline, that's for sure. Here's Kusanov now. And hasn't really settled to life at Manchester City. Got that debut on fire. Oh, they've given the ball away now. Brighton trying to venture forward. That's a brilliant challenge there from Kusanov on the slide. He's got tremendous pace, Abdulkadir Kusanov. So that's something that allows Pep Guardiola and Manchester City to just push up the pitch here. I think Diego Gomez has picked up an injury there after... Oh, that's a nasty one there by Tijani Reinders. Oh, it's on the follow-through. It's a nearly an ankle breaker, man. Wow. Are they going to have a look at this? Diego Gomez, the Paraguayan centre midfielder, is very lucky that nothing snapped. Oh, it's a bad one there from Reinders, man. Is on the stretch. He's got the ball. His studs are up. And, Fabian Hertzler's absolutely fuming. He wants them to have a look That is a rash challenge there by Reinders. Make no mistake about it. Fabian Hürzeler has got that passion. The young man passion is giving an earful to the fourth official. Hürzeler has to be careful though, but 5 minutes on the clock. Manchester City, well, their hearts will be beating on the chest here if they have a look at VAR. That is a challenge that is, it's a bit out of control, isn't it? The referee may be sent to the monitor, I'm not sure. But I think Reinders is a lucky boy. Gomez will have to take his time to get back onto his feet here. That was a hard challenge to take. Really was a terrible one for Diego Gomez. Look, it's a heavy touch there by Reinders. It gets away from him. He's trying to bring it under control. He's played the pass to his... the only saving grace is he's played the pass and then Diego Gomez just comes across. So he's on the follow through. I don't know how much he can do about it, considering that it's not a challenge. So he might get away with that one. For the sake of the game, you want it to remain 11v11. So we'll wait and see. Hürzeler finally calmed down now, having a seat. Taking a deep breath, he absolutely went at the fourth official, didn't he? Well, in the base of the mid... fair play to Diego Carlos. Just look at him. He's back on his feet. Diego Gomez is just... He is tough as nails. To take that challenge, still be standing and potentially coming back on. Fair play, man. We'll wait and see whether or not he can continue as Veltman takes the throw in. Minte holding off the challenge. Marmoush helps out defensively and a throw in for Brighton. Gomez, ready to come back on, man. Wow. They are just built differently, aren't they? These football players, man. Incredible. Here's Marmoush, cleared away by Rodri. City yet to really start off this contest. Haven't really gotten going yet. Van Hecke and Verbruggen combining there. Heavily Dutch influence the backline of Brighton. They've got 3 out of the 5, including the goalkeeper, that are from Netherlands. Lewis Dunk, of course, from England. And Maxime de Kuyper, the Belgian left back. First time I'm having a look at him. And we'll see how he combines with Karo Mitoma on that left-hand side. Brighton scouting, elite, isn't it? I mean, they had Estupinian, they had Valentino Barco, who's gone to Strasbourg since then. That's an interesting approach to a pass here, and if he can keep that in, he might be in business. Well, Minte is rapid, but even he can't keep that in play. But that's a clever idea for the switch of pass here. How about this? What a first touch that was from Baleba. Just sets it up nicely. The cut-through pass to Minte, not finding the target. An early kickoff here at the Amex Stadium for Manchester City. Kusanov playing as the left-sided centre-half. They'll have to form their partnership with... That's a nice pinch there. And Haaland is through on goal here. If he can take the touch, it's Erling Haaland. It's a weak finish. Well, you expected the net to bulge there. Brilliant from Marmoush. He pinches the ball and he plays the through pass. Haaland is yards onside. His first couple of touches aren't assured, but he still sets it up nicely for the finish. Oh, the finish is terrible from Haaland. You do not associate that from Erling Haaland. You expected that to really just leather it. Haaland disappointing with his effort. Just having a few words and a bit of a shoulder barge with Van Hecke. Well, first real opportunity for Manchester City. Under 10 minutes on the clock. Erling Haaland bearing down on goal. Has to score really. Pep Guardiola will not be happy. Haaland scored a brace against Wolves. Really did struggle against Spurs, didn't he? I mean, the way that Christian Romero and Mickey van der Ven dealt with him was expert. Oh, Veltman with a quick pass there by Verbruggen. Not able to get that swiftly. And City, just like that, push up the pitch here. Here's Rodri. What a up and down couple of years, didn't it, for Rodri? Had some of the best years of his life, wins the Ballon d'Or, and then immediately picks up the ACL injury, which rules him out for the entire campaign. So it's excellent to see him back on the pitch, even though it is a detriment to teams looking to chase down Manchester City. And Kusunov's pace he's lightning across the turf, man. Uzbekistan's finest here as pressure. Oh, there's a good press applied here by Brighton. Mitoma helping out. Now Minte too. Trafford had that horror moment which led to that Joao Palhinha goal for Tottenham Hotspur, where he was looking to play out the back. It was a terrible pass. Not just in execution, but just the ideation of the pass that he wanted to play there when there was so much pressure behind him. Again, the tactic seems to be try and release Yankuba Minte as quickly as possible on the right-hand side. Because Ryan Aït-Nouri likes to bomb on forward, Minte is rapid, so trying to get that bit of yards on him. Reinders and Rodri. I'm very curious to see the distances between those two. That's a very clever touch there by Marmoush, but he's lost out. Very good challenge there. Oh, Hinchelwood's challenge was fair. I can't see how that was a foul, but the referee gives it in favour of Marmoush and Manchester City. There's a good tempo about this game. That's the reason why I wanted to do this. Oh, that was a fair challenge there from Hinchelwood. I don't think there was too much wrong. Let's have a look from this angle. It's so clear. He has gotten all of the ball. Terrible call by the referee, but we move. Well, Jack Hinchelwood has displaced Ayari from that midfield pivot. So that's a really good tap on his shoulder. I mean, well done for him. He's not one of the, glamorous names in the Brighton team. But he has shown he is a valuable player for Fabian Hürzeler. Here's Reinders now. Again, it's Kusunov and John Stones on the right-hand side. Here's Nunez with a heavy first touch, and he's been completely taken out of the game now. Here's Welbeck, allowed to turn. Driving now. He's got a few options. He's shrugged off a couple of challenges, looking for the quick 1-2 here. Hinchelwood does well, but they've lost out the ball, and now Manchester City on the break again. Here's Marmoush trying to bulldoze his way forward. Brighton with strengthened numbers. Very good defending there by Lewis Dunk. Nunez has slipped a couple of times. He might need to change his studs here because Kaoru Mitoma is rapid, so has to be switched on. Here's Veltman. Now Baleba. What a pass that is. On the left-hand side. Now Mitoma trying to isolate Mateus Nunez. First time pass at the outside of the boot. Interesting choice of pass there from Mitoma. Again, Brighton are getting behind Manchester City on a few occasions here. Hürzeler will be reasonably pleased with the way that his team have started in the early stages. Ryan Aït-Nouri takes the throw in. Tries to get his way forward, and good to see the Paraguayan back onto his feet here. Diego Gomez nearly suffering an ankle breaker there, and that is not an exaggeration. Aït-Nouri with the throw-in. Talked about a Super Sunday clash here, and got Arsenal travelling to Anfield after this one. That is going to be a firecracker of a game. Here's Nunez trying to play that into the channel here. Brighton are quick across the turf. He spoke about how they've made a few changes in their starting 11, but the spine remains very solid. Van Hecke, Lewis Dunk, Carlos Baleba, Danny Welbeck. I mean, it's a very strong spine that they've had. They've had to contend with the loss of Joao Pedro, who has started life at Chelsea in the most perfect manner. So that is 50 million very well spent by Chelsea. Haven't seen too much of De Kuyper yet for Brighton. He's up against Oscar Bob. Now, Oscar Bob isn't lightning quick, but he has got some real flicks and tricks. He's got a low center of gravity to his game. He's able to shift directions very swiftly. So it'll be a interesting test for De Kuiper. Here's Trafford now. There was news that Edison might be moving to Fenerbahce on a transfer in the summer. We'll wait and see. Haaland trying to bring the ball under control. He's done pretty well. It's a hefty challenge there by Van Hecker. He might pick up a yellow card for the challenge. I think he does. Well, the Dutch defender, a bit rash with the challenge, goes through the back of Erling Haaland and now has to play the rest of the game on a yellow card. He's trying to follow Haaland every step of the way and then follows up with another heavy challenge on Reinders. I think that's a receipt for that crunching challenge on Gomez. So Van Hecker taking one for the team here. Don't know how wise that was. But the Brighton centre-half will now have to play 75 minutes plus stoppage time on a yellow card against Haaland. Haaland already has had a sighter at goal, but it was a weak effort. Haven't seen too much of Bernardo Silva yet, and we want to see the City captain get a lot more involved in the play here. So almost dropping in as an auxiliary centre midfielder, he's playing deeper than Tijjani Reinders if you have a look here. Interesting strategy. Here's Kusanov. And he's allowed to run here. Kusanov, clever, but he's lost out of the ball. And now Minte can run here if he can push and run through. It's well done there by City. Marmoush helping out defensively. Nicely done. City now recycling the ball. On the right-hand side is Oscar Bob. Nunes. Pretty much cemented that right-back spot, didn't he? That 45 million, 50 million pound move from Wolves 2 seasons ago. Thought that it would be difficult for him to get into the Manchester City midfield. But he has reinvented himself as a right-back, and see that when he's not playing on the right-hand side, City do miss that engine of the Portuguese. Here's Trafford. It'll be interesting whether he is the starting keeper for Thomas Tuchel and England at the World Cup. Still might be Pickford as that number 1. When you do move to Manchester City, suddenly your stocks are up, isn't it? And if you start having a good season, Thomas Tuchel might be inclined to go with James Trafford. Here's Rodri. Kusanov. Been pretty advanced, hasn't he? Here's Ed Nouri. Both City centre-halves pretty much invited in the Brighton half. Brighton happy to hold their shape. Here's Reinders. Another late challenge there by Baleba, but play continues. Marmoush has to eat the challenge. Again, Bernardo Silva's position is very curious. He doesn't really affect the game from there. Want him to see closer in those pockets. Here's Stones. Kusanov. Brighton have 10 men behind the ball. Danny Welbeck helping out defensively too. So is Yankuba Minte, who's very strong, and he wins the ball brilliantly there, the Gambian. And now Brighton on the break here, committing bodies forward. It's a poor pass. Welbeck makes something out of it, and Mitoma's through on goal here. It's Kaoru Mitoma. It's a brilliant save. And just like that, Brighton and Hove Albion turn defense into attack, and James Trafford comes up clutch with a save. It's outstanding work by Yankuba Minte to first win the ball. Danny Welbeck, what a pass that is from Kaoru Mitoma, who's clearly onside. And both City and now Brighton have had clear sighters at goal. Haaland first, now Mitoma. The game has begun now. The game truly has begun. Well, Mitoma had to take that early, didn't he? On the stretch. That's how well the Brighton front three combined. Lightning pace. Corner here for Brighton. Interesting position here by Minte. It's not really affecting the play. Might really turn and get into the box here. Cleared away. Very good header. Pump back with the header this time, and Trafford with a comfortable grab Looking for a quick release here. Marmoush, the only one forward. It's a bit dicey, but Baleba's so strong, isn't he? You're never really going to get around him. Such is the strength and power of Brighton's new midfield sensation. How do they do it, man, Brighton? They keep replacing midfielders with very good midfielders, don't they? They went from Bissouma to Caicedo to Baleba. Fair play to the scouting team. Can Bernardo Silva deep in his own half? I want to see the Portuguese almost. I think he is the number 10 for the system, but you see a lot more of Marmoush in those pockets as he is right now. Trying to be as close as possible. Clever flick on there by Marmoush to now Ait Nouri. But look at that from Minte. Yankuba Minte's effort has been first class. Here's Rodri. Very good pass there to Oscar Bob. Nunez on the right-hand side. Bob playing in the half space. So is Bernardo Silva by the looks of it. That's a terrible pass by the captain. Just loss of concentration, and Brighton recover the ball. They look to play out the back, and they've done so very well. Beautiful football this from Brighton. Sweeping move from the Seagulls. Again, quickly has to look for Minte. He's the form man right now, looking to take on Ait Nouri. Yankuba Minte, clever pass. Well, Kusanov's pace, man, is just brilliant. Fair play for Joel Veltman to make that run from right back to try and give Minte a bit of support, but good defending. Abdulkadir Kusanov is a cheat code in defense. Just the pace. If you have pace like that, if you ask Spurs fans and the Spurs manager what it does to their team when they have someone like Mickey van der Ven play as the centre half, I mean, gets you out of so much trouble, doesn't it? Ooh, Kusanov with a loose pass. Now trying to rectify that mistake with a quick challenge. Nearly halfway through the first half, Brighton more than competing here with Manchester City. Erling Haaland and Karo Mitoma with the two best chances in the match so far. Diego Gomez nearly suffering an ankle breaker courtesy of Tijani Reinders. No red card, no injury. 11v11, just how we like to see our football here. Here's De Kuiper. Didn't want to see him get forward a ball. Just try and support Mitoma as much as possible. Decent pass, and here's Minte with a beautiful switch out there onto the left-hand side. Inch perfect pass here to Mitoma, but he's offside. What a shame that is. Well, Yankuba Minte is showing every facet of his game, and he's elite, isn't he? Mitoma has to stay onside. It's criminal. It really is, especially when you've successfully managed to switch the play in that manner. You can see the line, you know where the defender is. It's just making that extra effort to get onside. Here's Bernardo Silva. Again, Bernardo's so deep in his own half. Hasn't really affected the game. He's just like an extra body in midfield, trying to almost disrupt Danny Welbeck's press. More than that, need to see a lot more from Bernardo Silva. Pretty much lost in the midfield area here. Here's John Stones. And Brighton's shape off the ball is excellent. It is 4-2-3-1 compact. There's nowhere for City to go. Brilliant from Fabian Hertzler. See, sometimes teams, when they defend against Manchester City, when they don't have the ball, they might go with a back five and invite a lot more pressure. Oscar Bob with a brilliant turn there. And here's Tijani Reinders, lays it off. Haaland with the strike. And he hasn't gotten his shooting boots on yet. On his left foot again. It's a scuffed effort. Good pressure applied there from Manchester City. Oscar Bob picks his head up, finds Reinders. First time pass to Haaland, who takes a touch onto his left foot. Trying to just pass it into the corner. But the Norwegian marksman has had two good opportunities to open the scoring here at the Amex Stadium. They're showing the lack of touches for Erling Haaland, but it doesn't really matter, does it? He's had the two best opportunities for Manchester City. Silva lets it go for Reinders. And Oscar Bob trying to burst past the challenge. Here's Bernardo Silva in the pocket, much better here. And now Zayton Nuri, clip ball into the box. Haaland with the header, brilliant save. Verbruggen somehow gets it in time. Danger still not averted though. Manchester City have had 3 clear-cut opportunities. All of Haaland here. It's Rodri. Thought about the clip pass. It's Haaland's header again. Very good defending by Van Hecke. Well, Erling Haaland is getting the chances. Nice move this from Manchester City. Again, Bernardo Silva affecting the game in the number 10 position. Nuri just hangs it up towards the far stake. Where Erling Haaland was waiting. Fair play for him for getting the leap on De Kuiper, and very good defending there from the Belgian. Just trying to put off Haaland. You're never going to win the challenge, especially with Haaland coming at the back. So, as a left back, the best case scenario for you is just to put a bit of pressure on Haaland. That's exactly what he did. And he couldn't really get that header in the corner that he was hoping for. Again, for all the decent play that Brighton have done, but they have given Manchester City clear sights at goal. That's something that they'll want to try and cut out into the final 20 minutes of the first half. Here's Kusanov. Rodri clips the pass onto the right-hand side. Takes that nicely to Oscar Bob. Again, he's playing a lot more central. Good feet there. Might be a foul. Well, referee waves play on. Thought Mitoma might have just tugged on the jersey. Now on the left-hand side. Looking for the clip pass. Instead, he goes along the ground. John Stones does well to sweep up. Here's Trafford. Game's got a really good tempo about it. Chances for both sides. That's another very good pass here. And Nuri is very quick. He gets there first. Again, look at Minte, man. Yankuba Minte. His defensive work, first class. Can only applaud that. When you see your wingers helping out defensively like that, you know your team is on it. Yankuba Minte is showcasing everything in his facet. Scored some big goals last season. Number 11 jersey, rightfully his. Now he has pretty much sealed that right-hand side attacking position for Brighton. But it is a corner here for Manchester City. I think it's their first one in the half so far. So, opportunity here for Manchester City. Got John Stones, Kusanov, Erling Haaland, Rodri, all capable of getting their head to this as Tijani Reinders get that right-footed in-swinging corner into the box. Ball in, it's decent. It's a very good header. Marmoush swings his weaker left foot at it, and he skies that over for a goal kick. Decent whip on the corner here. Manchester City looked to win the first ball, but the heading ability from Van Hecke was good. Had to win the first ball. Relatively unchallenged. Falls straight to the left boot of Omar Marmoush, who can't really get his positioning spot on there. Brighton playing out the back. It's a risky strategy, especially with Manchester City applying the full press. Again, Mitoma won the header. City looking to win the second ball there. Might be a heavy challenge. I think Rodri just getting grazed on the top of his head. Rodri yet to really affect the game in the first half so far. But City do look a lot more settled when he is in the lineup, isn't it? When he does play, just exudes that calmness in the City side. Well, Brighton have had just the one opportunity. Was the Kaoru Mitoma effort, which was very well saved by James Trafford. City, on the other hand, have had 5 attempts, 2 on target. Expect Haaland to do a lot better with his finishing. Brighton pinch the ball here. Hinchelwood trying to keep hold of the ball. Goes back to Verbruggen. Decent clip pass. De Kuiper trying to keep that in play. And City's press is working here because this is not the first time they have forced Brighton to be rushed in their build-up. Rodri back on the pitch here. Half an hour played, still 0-0 at the Amex Stadium. Brighton yet to win a game in the Premier League in the 2025-26 campaign so far. They'll be hoping to break that duck in this game. It'll be a tough one against Manchester City, who've shown that they're very much up for it, but they haven't taken the early chances. Again, pressure on Nunes. Mitoma making himself a nuisance. Bernardo Silva helping out defensively, but instead he's lost the ball out. It's Yakuba Minte takes a touch. Oh, it's very clever. He just tries to set up Diego Gomez, who had made the run into the box. Again, Minte, such a valuable... Oh, that's a risky pass there by Van Hekken, where Verbruggen has to bail him out. Whew. Well, Van Hekken has played that pass blind. It is so risky, and it's Haaland running onto it. But Verbruggen was switched on and he swept up nicely. Bernardo Silva trying to help out defensively, which was the right thing to do, but his half-hearted clearance nearly resulting in a half chance for Brighton and Hove Albion. Yankuba Minte did well to chest the ball down. Look at him again. He's tracking back. He's the deepest player in the back line here. What a shift he's put in here. Then looking to switch the play. It's a bit... Brighton somehow still pinched the ball. Yet to see too much of Carlos Baleba. Now he wins a powerful header. You want to see a lot more of Carlos Baleba, especially on the ball. Again, Brighton seem to be winning the headers. But they're still forced back. Here's Lewis Dunk now. Forced to go all the way back to the goalkeeper. Well, Verbruggen has been tested on a couple of occasions. Had to keep the Haaland header out. That was destined for the back of the net. Again, Brighton rushed. This is the third time that we are seeing in very quick succession of plays that Brighton rushed in the build-up, and Manchester City, just like that, they gain territory in Brighton half. Here's Nunes. Oscar Bob. Bob started against Tottenham Hotspur. Try to be as effective as possible. Well, City's bench, they've got the likes of Nico O'Reilly, they've got Nico Gonzalez, Ilkay Gundogan, Jeremy Doku. Don't think Phil Foden is on the bench. They do have Ruben Diaz if they want to show things up defensively. And again, Brighton play out the press very well. Minte has to play that first time, man. I know he was itching to play the pass. He was just looking to bring the ball under control. Instead, here's Oscar Bob. Marmoush, heavy touch. Van Hekke helps out. Marmoush, brilliant. Haaland this time, no mistake. Well, far too many opportunities going to Erling Haaland. A lot of credit has to go to Omar Marmoush, who keeps his balance, just touches that with the toe poke to Erling Haaland, who's like a fox in the box. Quality finish from him. Excellent work. City win the ball back and now they're in business. Oscar Bob just driving with the ball and now City come alive here. Good shimmy. Marmoush with the touch. Good bit of feed. Gets touch fortunate. The touch forward is a brilliant assist. Haaland is miles onside and he finishes it with aplomb. Oh, that's a brilliant assist there from Marmoush. It is so delicate in a congested area. He nutmegs Lewis Dunk and Haaland with a deft finish. No chance there for Verbruggen as Manchester City have a deserved lead at the Amex Stadium. And now Brighton will have to come out and play. This will be a challenge for them. But yep, in the scheme of things, Manchester City very much deserve this lead. Again, we need to see a lot more of the Brighton midfield. Talked about Baleba, who's lost out there. He won the ball, but his pass was inaccurate. What a touch that is from Reinders. Oh, brilliant from Reinders. Oh, he should have allowed the play to continue, but the referee has pulled out here. I think it is Mateus Nunes. Might have just suffered a bit of an injury there. The footwork and balance of Tijani Reinders in the middle of the park was brilliant. Well, Erling Haaland, the fourth chance, if I counted correctly. 2 on his left foot, 1 with the header, left foot again. Lethal Haaland. With 3 goals in 3 matches for Erling Haaland. He does what he does best. Score goals, man. Again, they do that disservice to Haaland, don't they, when they show his touch map and his heat map. Like, they show that he doesn't get involved enough, but chances to him, that's the best thing you can do. And that's how you should judge Haaland. Just scores goals. Well, just under 10 minutes remain in this first half. Brighton looking for a way back. Manchester City looking for their second away win of the season. Here's Kusanov. Reinders again. Having a good game, isn't he? Tijani Reinders. Trafford playing with fire, but it's an accurate pass between the lines here to Tijani Reinders, who carries the ball brilliantly. Here's Marmoush. Might be a foul, but Marmoush decides to continue here. Again, great balance from the Egyptian. He's such an electrifying player, especially in those pockets, man. I think he's wasted out wide. And it's a wise move there by Pep Guardiola, making sure that he's almost played like a dual striker system here. It's Bernardo Silva is just playing as a floater around the pitch. But this is a wise move by Pep Guardiola. Could have been very easily tempted putting Marmoush on the left, but he's got Ait Nouri holding the width on the left-hand side, so he can allow Omar Marmoush to play in those pockets. Here's Rodri. Ait Nouri, back to Trafford. Manchester City pretty much completing phase 1 of this first half. Relatively untroubled. Mitoma's chance was courtesy of some lightning quick counter-attack play there from Brighton and Hove Albion, but they've not really created otherwise. Want to see a lot more byline work from Mitoma and Minte. Here's Oscar Bob. He loses out on the left-hand side. Good feet shown there. But again, City hound the ball so quickly. Looking to play out the press here. Minte helping out. He's picked up the ball, trying to keep his balance. Haaland helping out here. And now Marmoush again showing his electrifying pace and balance. Has to release the pass. Takes way too much time there, Marmoush. Oscar Bob was in so much space, busting a gut to get there on the right-hand side. Marmoush doesn't identify the pass there, and he's trying to take on with 3 or 4 players around him. His mind would have been going at like 100 miles per hour, so you might just empathize a little bit. You just want him to maybe pick his head up at some point there, try and release Oscar Bob, but Brighton doing well there. Big switch out coming on the left-hand side. Kaoru Mitoma trying to bring that under control. He does. Brilliant work from the Japanese. On the left-hand side is De Kuyper. Here's Hinchelwood. Baleba has got space, but he's not really demanding the ball, is he? He was hooked at half-time against Everton when they lost 2-0 last week. There was a lot of talk that the talk of Manchester City has unsettled him, but that is not an excuse that flies, man. I mean, especially when there's high-level Premier League action happening here. That's much better from Baleba. Switch up onto the left-hand side. Trying to get the ball into an interesting area here. City got pretty much everyone behind the ball, including Haaland. Van Hecke forced to go back to Bart Verbruggen. It's a good pick out there if he can try to find his left back. They've won the second ball here. Here's Mitoma. On the left-hand side is De Kuyper. Again, he's just a bit unwilling to take him on, but looking to switch the play. Nouri wins the ball very nicely. Marmoush's flick on to Rodri is good. Rodri looking to get out of a very tight spot there, and it's pretty much a needless foul there by Gomez. Well, Pep Guardiola will be reasonably pleased with the way his team have tackled the first 40 minutes. Here's Kusanov. Ooh, might be a foul there. Well, Kusanov was allowed to carry the ball, and he'll gladly do that. He's a very good ball-playing centre-half from Uzbekistan, and a clean sheet here will do him a lot of confidence. To drop Ruben Diaz, Pep to do that just shows you that he does trust Kusanov. Just needs to now bring that consistency into his game. Again, Bernardo Silva is the man dropping in between the two centre-halves. It's Marmoush playing as the number 10. Very fluid here from Manchester City. You're looking for the switch on the left-hand side. And trying to keep his balance here. Now Stone's looking to switch the play out. Here's Bernardo Silva. Reinders. Again, fed on to the right-hand side. Brilliant turn there from Oscar Bob, and City are in business here. Brilliant work. That is excellent from De Kuiper. He's had a very good game, the Belgian left-back, Oscar Bob. Well, showing in that one moment how electrifying he can be. Just drops the shoulder, leaves the defender for dead. Veltman is caught in a very tricky corner, gets fortunate. It's a clear, the ball was rolling. With 3 minutes per stoppage time remain in this first half, Manchester City have curtailed the Brighton threat, but I expect Brighton to be a lot more aggressive in the second half. City will be looking for that second goal, the cushion. We had 6 Premier League games yesterday in what was a goal fest, really. Again, the goals are back in the Premier League. Oh, that's a big risk taken. Omar Marmoush has pinched the ball after Haaland put pressure on the goalkeeper. Here's Nouri. Brighton are masters of their own downfall if they concede. Rodri with the left-footed effort. Wild swing. It's so needless there from Verbruggen. Haaland puts the pressure. Marmoush nicks the ball. And Brighton nearly imploding just before half-time. Verbruggen put under immense pressure from Haaland. Oh, he's literally waited to the last second. Very risky. Brighton somehow get away with that one. De Kuiper goes all the way back to Verbruggen. Now looking to just calm things down. Can Brighton create an opportunity just before half-time? We'll wait and see. Yet to see if Danny Welbeck get any real sighter at goal. Again, Brighton play out the back beautifully there. Here's Veltman now. And Fabian Hertzler is 6 months younger than me. It's absolutely crazy that at 32 years of age, he is managing a Premier League club. And mind you, this is his second season. Big switch out there. Nunez with the header. Welbeck, not a spring chicken anymore, but still capable of helping out in those forward areas as Trafford decides to go long. Final minute of normal time here for Manchester City to try and take a half-time advantage. Erling Haaland got sighter after sighter in the first half, and after Omar Marmoush's eye of the needle toe poke pass to Haaland, made no mistake to give Manchester City a deserved lead. It's another clever pass there. Minte has been targeted on that right-hand side by Brighton, but they have not gotten into him with those accurate passes. And that's something that Fabian Hertzler will be emphasizing in the second half. Continue playing this way, but your passes in the final third have to be a lot more accurate. Nouri with the throw-in. We're into stoppage time now. Manchester City will feel that they've done very well. Not just creating chances, but keeping Brighton at bay. Trafford does look a bit dicey with the ball at his feet, doesn't he? And that can really catch on with every passing week. You want your goalkeeper, and it's a different thing for Manchester City, isn't it? Because they've had Edison for like 8 years now, and he's so good with the ball. Manchester City players don't really think twice before passing to him, and they are comfortable knowing that he very rarely gives the ball away. Trafford needs to showcase that confidence on the ball. Here's Stones, Rodri. Big press applied here from Brighton, but City nearly get out of it. Excellent work there. Hinshelwood full press there. Manchester City with some clever one-touch passing, trying to get their way out of that tricky situation. Well, for Brighton and Hove Albion, time running out in this first half. Can they try and get a chance, force a mistake from Manchester City? Danny Welbeck has to get back onto his feet because City can make a move here. Rodri sweeps that in the air to Nouri on the left-hand side. Good work there by Minte again with the defensive work. Kusanov comes out way out of position, and Minte is interested, and Trafford with a good header there. Playing the sweeper-keeper role nicely on that occasion. Well, Manchester City looking to take a clean sheet heading into the second half. A minute remain here at the Amex Stadium. Erling Haaland, the difference maker, scoring his third Premier League goal in as many games before the international break. Manchester City looking for their second victory in 3 games. Of course, the blockbuster fixture coming up at 9 p.m. India time, where that's another decent looking pass, but pretty much to nowhere. Yep, the 9 p.m. clash between Liverpool and Arsenal. That is going to be a firecracker of a game, isn't it? The only shame about that fixture is, especially at Anfield, it's far too early in the season. You would have wanted that fixture to be somewhere in March, April, where there's real jeopardy attached. Still, it's going to be an excellent game. That's for sure. Oh, Minte has pinched the ball here. He's interested. Minte trying to do it by himself. Ball cut back across. It was a helter-skelter counter-attack because Yakuba Minte had no right to pinch the ball. His work off the ball has been sensational in the first half. Just lacking that final touch, that final pass needed to try and open up Manchester City. It looks like City will take the clean sheet heading into the halftime break here. Yep, Yankuba Minte just might have gotten a sore one on him as he was just looking to fist that ball across the face of goal. The referee might look at this as an opportunity to blow the halftime whistle here. Let's look at Minte. Oh, that's a nasty one, isn't he? How did he stay on his feet? I mean, that's ridiculous. It's crazy. I mean, Ryan Nouri has missed out. He has kicked him on the side of the head. Minte still carries on. It's that adrenaline, isn't it? Because he just gets in there, he hammers the ball across, and then finds himself hitting the deck here. So, wow. Now, Kumba Minte using adrenaline as the real drug here. I mean, how do you stay at your feet once you get there? As they show you the highlight of the goal, it was the deftest of passes from Omar Marmoush, wasn't it? Manchester City, it's a lengthy injury here. But good to see that everyone back on their feet. Minte is surely okay because he did continue, but did have to take that nasty bump. Well, 5 minutes of stoppage time has been played, and the referee now deciding that that is that for the first half action. Erling Haaland, the difference maker between the two teams heading into the halftime whistle. He had chances before his goal, but when the chance didn't arrive after Omar Marmoush's brilliant through pass, Erling Haaland in the 34th minute made no mistake to just clip it past the keeper to give them a halftime lead. Halftime here at the Amex Stadium. It's Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Manchester City 1. Very good first half there from Manchester City, and you can see that once Rodri is back in the team, the control element for Manchester City is there to see. Brighton just creating that one opportunity that was from Kaoru Mitoma's effort after Yakuba Minte worked so hard to win the ball deep in his own half. He has been a real live wire on that right-hand side. You want him to do more damage in the forward areas, but he's been working so hard to help out defensively. For Manchester City, you want to keep it as it is. They don't have too many attacking options on the bench for this game. They do have Jeremy Doku, who is capable of playing on that left-hand side if the need does arrive. But we have seen Ryan Aït-Nouri on that left-hand side hold that down very well. Omar Marmoush has looked quality for Manchester City. Erling Haaland's getting chances. That's exactly what you want to see. So Manchester City fully warranting their 1-0 lead heading into the halftime break. Well, the game before in the international break does dictate a lot, doesn't it? I mean, not just the mood, but you want to see your team win the game before that 2-week break. Speaking of breaks, I'm going to take a quick one before I come back for the second half. Live wire on that right hand side. You want him to see do more damage in the Well, we're all but set for the start of the second half. Manchester City with a 1-0 lead at the Amex Stadium. Fabian Hertzler would have been plotting his way back into this contest. Erling Haaland, the difference maker between the two teams. As we're all but set for the start of the second half. Manchester City looking for their second win of the season. Looking to bounce back after that defeat at home to Tottenham Hotspur. As we're all set for the start of the second half, it is Brighton who kick things off from right to left as Manchester City look for a way back here and look for that cushion goal, as Brighton will be making every move possible to try and find their way back into the contest. Well, to Manchester City's credit, I think the way that they played off the ball was excellent to see. They limited the chances. I think it was only the Mitoma who had that only clear-cut opportunity. Yankuba Minte was electrifying on that right-hand side, working so hard defensively, but needs to do a lot more damage in those forward areas. Manchester City have gotten their big chances to their main gunman, so they have done that thing in terms of doing it right. Here's Bernardo Silva. Pretty much played anywhere on the pitch in that first half, didn't he? Where he had the license to go and chase on. We saw him pop up between the centre halves as the right back sometimes in the pockets. Difficult to try and assign a particular player to him. Have to be a bit careful here as Bart Verbruggen, who had to make a couple of saves of Erling Haaland. Okay, and they're forcing Brighton to go long here, and that is where Manchester City are doing their job, aren't they? Brighton want to get the ball on the pitch, make sure that they get those crisp passing going on. Need to see a lot more from Baleba in the midfield area. See Jack Hinchelwood rather. He's been busy in the midfield area, but he's not really affected the game in the forward positions, and that's something that Fabian Hertzler would have urged to his midfield player. Again, trying to go forward. Here's Oscar Bob on the right hand side. Decent ball in as Marmoush tries to just squeeze that from a tight angle. Manchester City Again, getting behind the Brighton backline. Good work there from City. Again, they break with real pace. And what Kusanov has allowed Manchester City to do is play a much higher line. And that is something that they can take advantage of. Almost compress the pitch and not allow Brighton to settle in. Here's Rodri now. Marmoush. Again playing in the left-hand side half space with Reinders further advanced. Almost like Rodri is playing the island role. He's got Bernardo Silva in the pivot. They've got Oscar Bob almost like that right-hand side winger who's holding the width. Reinders playing as the number 10. And Omar Marmoush in that left-hand side half space with Ait Nouri holding the width on the left-hand side. Again, it's all about getting the ball in those advanced areas. It's a strong bit of play there from Marmoush, and Minte helps out defensively again, but this time commits the foul. Again, the two attackers getting into a tangle there. Again, Marmoush so dynamic in his movements. John Stones put under a bit of pressure here. Much better from Brighton, forcing them to go long. Long ball now played forward. Van Hecke and Dunk between them deal with the danger nicely. Here's Lewis Dunk. Decent pass. What a bit of play that is from Mateus Nunes. The right back deals with that expertly and then fires the ball into Haaland. And now Manchester City looking to build here, and Rodri misplaces the pass, which might have allowed Manchester City to have a shot on goal here. Ooh, that's a bad mistake there from Mitoma. And here's Oscar Bob into the box now. Oscar Bob shimmying and shaking. The defending from De Kuiper is brilliant. He wasn't to be fooled by the trickery of Oscar Bob. Just kept his eyes on the ball. And Hinchelwood helps out defensively. For Manchester City, on the bench, they do have Jeremy Doku if they want to add a bit more dynamism and attacking threat. I think the balance has been good here from Manchester City. They won't want to change anything here. Here's Rodri. Reinders. Now Bernardo Silva. Mateus Nunes on the right-hand side. He's got a bit of space now. Trying to look the ball in those areas. City just slowing the pace now. It's Reinders. Capable of the scoop pass. Instead, he keeps it on the deck here. Here's Rodri now. Again, this is exactly where City want the game to be played. Brighton forced into a defensive structure here. Not able to get out. This is exactly where City can be so dangerous. Here's Rodri again. Reinders. Ait Nouri on the left-hand side. Again, it's Minte who is following the left back. Kusanov. Patience again exercised by Manchester City, baiting the press here. But Brighton win the ball back. But City looking for a quick way back. Nicely played here by Manchester City. I think the way that they've taken the sting out of the game has been particularly impressive, because what that does is just allow them to play the game at their own pace. Once they do that, they're so dangerous. Long ball forward to Haaland, trying to bring that down. Difficult skill, really. Here's Baleba. It's a nice pass there to Mitoma, who's got a lot of space here if he can drive. Decides against the ball carry. De Kuiper goes to Lewis Dunk now. Here's Verbruggen. Had to make a few saves of Haaland in the first half. Had that nervy moment when Haaland did press him and nearly gave the ball away. He did give the ball away to Marmoush, but City couldn't capitalize. There's another brilliant switch there. Mitoma brings that down superbly there. Clever back heel on the left-hand side. De Kuiper tries to get away from Bernardo Silva. The captain helps out defensively, but he might have committed the foul. Needless there from Bernardo Silva, who did so well to track back, but he commits a needless foul. Free kick for Brighton and an opportunity to get themselves back level here. It's De Kuiper who's on the ball. He might surrender duties here. Diego Gomez has showcased his interest to try and swing this one into the box. They've got Van Hecker. Lewis Dunk is a unit. Baleba can head the ball too, but he might be just prowling at the edge of the box in case the ball does fall to him, where he can try and strike it first or with a second touch. Right-footed option of Gomez, left-footed option of De Kuiper. Manchester City looking to preserve their lead since they've won it in the 34th minute. He's left it to De Kuiper on his left foot, flick on header. Last touch might have come off a Brighton player. It has. Joel Weltman getting himself involved in the box, and Manchester City deal with that set-piece situation very well. I think it was Matheus Nunes' header which came up against the Dutch right back. Nearly 10 minutes into the second half, Manchester City once again relatively untroubled. Wait and see whether or not Fabian Hertzler makes a few changes off the bench. He's got Jorginho Rutter, the number 10, who can play in that position and offer a bit more in those pockets for Brighton. That's a very good turn there by Welbeck and puts the through pass. It's brain from Kusunov. The foul has been given. Well, Gomez has made the run. He breaks from deep. Abdulkadir Kusunov's pace is electrifying. Brilliant from Danny Welbeck with the through pass. Yeah, it's a clear foul there by Gomez on the Uzbeki centre half here. Really good pace. Gets himself between the ball and the player. Gets the foul there. It just shows you that Brighton's best course of action is to try and hit Manchester City on the quick break here. Here's Rodri. Shifted onto the right-hand side. Nunes now. Bit of space. Can look for the switch out here. Instead, he just keeps his feet and invites Bernardo Silva forward onto the right-hand side. Trying to get around the challenge. Instead, he's done very well just to keep a hold of the ball. Again, City very calm with the ball at their feet. No panic in their play whatsoever. Here's Oscar Bob trying to get around Mitoma. Foul given by the Japanese international. City with a free kick, and they really do have Brighton where they want them in the second half. Just threatening with those quick counterattacks, but other than that, they need to do a lot more if they're going to trouble Manchester City and Pep Guardiola here. Here's Kusunov. He's had a very good game. Alongside John Stones. Does give you a lot of confidence, doesn't it, when you have someone like John Stones alongside you with so much experience under his belt. Here's Bernardo Silva now. And City just playing this around their team here. This is very good play this from Manchester City. Oscar Bob on the right hand side. Thought about dropping the shoulder. Instead, on his left foot, looking to just shift it and strike. Oscar Bob again, no pressure applied. Nearly squeezing his way past a packed Brighton defence. Well, Erling Haaland might have just collided with Van Hecke in the box. The foul wasn't given. Oscar Bob was allowed to continue, which he did so, and fair play to him. He's very dangerous when he does just drop his shoulder. You don't know which side that he's capable of going. Oscar Bob looking a lot more comfortable on that right-hand side. Of course, he suffered that terrible leg break injury in pre-season last season, which ruled him out for the entirety of the season. So it's a lot of confidence, isn't it, when Pep Guardiola puts you as your starting player in consecutive games. Especially how much you like to see that he does look to change things around using his phenomenal squad depth. Here's Nunes. Bit of a heavy touch, but goes all the way back to James Trafford. Can City find themselves in a situation where brilliant touch there. Trafford's long ball finds Marmoush, who deals with that with real aplomb. Rodri, Bernardo Silva. City focusing the attack in the central pockets and now shifts it out wide on the right-hand side to Nunes, inviting Stones forward. Again, Brighton chasing shadows here. Manchester City in complete control of this match. Oscar Bob trying to isolate the fullback. The reverse pass by Bernardo Silva has been cut out. Again, Bernardo Silva is trying to affect the game in those deeper areas, but he's not been able to stitch that pass accurately. And a triple substitution being readied here by Fabian Herzler at the sidelines. Talked about how Jorginho Ruta would be introduced. They're wasting no time before bringing him on. Brahan Gruda will be introduced too. Yasin Ayari making his way forward. Oh, that's a clever clip pass there by Reinders to Oscar Bob. But Verbruggen was quickly off his line. Looking at Brighton making that quadruple substitution here. Brave move this from Fabian Herzler, but the attack continues for Manchester City, looking to add the second. That would really be a soul crusher before making those changes. Ball outside, what a chance that was. Omar Marmoush with the outside of the boot pass. Inch perfect for Oscar Bob, who's on the stretch and he can't get a clean connection on it. Oh, what a pass that is from the number 7 Marmoush. Weighted to perfection, enough spin on it. Oscar Bob on the stretch can't guide that on target, and we spoke about what a killer blow that would have been just before Fabian Herzler is making his quadruple substitution. James Milner, Yasin Ayari, Brahan Gruda and Jorginho Ruta coming on for Brighton now. Try and make sense of who all are being substituted. Hinchelwood is coming off. So is Danny Welbeck. So Jorginho Ruta might be playing as the focal point for Brighton and Hove Albion. Gomez coming off. So is Baleba. Well, it's back-to-back games where Carlos Baleba has been hooked. Well, Ayari coming on here. He was in that midfield pivot alongside Carlos Baleba, wasn't he? But Brahan Gruda, who joined from Mainz, now into the midfield area. But it's City who are asking the questions early on here. And Brighton have dipped into the Bundesliga market, haven't they? And now on the break here, here's Mitoma. They've committed bodies forward. It's Yankuba Minte. Big save again by James Trafford. Clear-cut opportunity for Brighton on the counter-attack. And this is where the front three combine. Kaoru Mitoma drives with the ball. Good through ball here for Minte, who's in a central position. Takes it onto his left foot and fires that on target. Kusunov does well to come there on the slide. Try and make it not a clear-cut shot there for Minte. And that chance was celebrated as almost like a fuse being lit here on Brighton. That quadruple substitution, can it make the impact here as Brighton and Hove Albion have a corner kick now? Ball into the box, cleared away by Nunes. Mitoma floats that into the box, but it's cleared away. And now can City break? Is Marmoush trying to battle with Veltman? Well, apologies, it wasn't Veltman, it's James Milner who's looking to beat Gareth Barry's most appearances in the Premier League. I mean, James Milner has been playing Premier League football for 20 years. That is ridiculous. Started off as a 16-year-old for Leeds, then moved to Aston Villa, played for Manchester City, picked up a couple of Premier Leagues, moved to Liverpool, and now applying his stride for Brighton and Hove Albion. Ruta trying to showcase his twinkle toes here. Somehow keeps the ball. Manchester City heavy in the challenge. Oh, that is rash there from Kusunov. He'll definitely pick up a yellow card. Well, up the corner, Kusanov on Yankuba Minte is a forceful challenge on the slide. He's apologetic, the centre half, but he will not avoid the yellow card. Heavy challenge there. You see their Rooter just trying to add a bit of dynamism in the forward areas, trying to keep the ball. Kusanov won the first challenge, lost out in the second, goes lunging in. It's reckless, it's out of control, and it's a yellow card now for the Manchester City centre-back. Well, Fabian Hertzler was baying for that yellow card, wasn't it? And now Manchester City have yet another set piece they have to defend against. Well, Kusanov and John Stones have done very well defensively, but they have been caught on a couple of occasions in those central areas in the counter-attacks, where Karo Mitoma in the first half and now Yankuba Minte have had strikes at goal. It's a free kick on the right-hand side for Brighton and Hove Albion. Right-footed option is there. Lets it go and just floats that towards the far stick where Lewis Dunk. Oh, they've asked for the handball there. It looks like Mateus Nunes might have withdrawn his hands, but the penalty has been given. Mateus Nunes not really protesting the decision, which can only mean one thing. That's a penalty. Well, what a game-changing moment this can turn out to be. Lewis Dunk in all sorts of space onto the right-hand side. Mateus Nunes has put his arm outside. It has struck him. Oh, that's unfortunate from Nunes, but yeah, it's a clear handball and a penalty. What a chance this is for Brighton and Hove Albion from the spot to drag themselves level. Yet to win a game in the Premier League in the season so far, but this is a step in the right direction to try and get all 3 points. Pep Guardiola mystified as to how this game has swung here. It will be Yasin Ayari from the spot who's claimed the ball. It's been minutes since he's come on here, and with about 25 minutes to go, Yasin Ayari has the opportunity to drag Brighton back level here. Well, they've struggled from open play. In counter-attack situations, Brighton have threatened, and the penalty has been confirmed. Brighton and Hove Albion rarely threaten Manchester City, and it seems that Ayari has just handed the penalty duties to the former Manchester City midfielder, James Milner. 5 minutes since coming on. Big moment for the experienced campaigner. The two Englishmen going face to face here. It's Milner against James Trafford. Milner has scored the last 5 penalties that he has taken. Flawless from the spot. Big moment in this contest. He has taken many a pressure penalties in his career. This will not faze him. But he's up against James Trafford. Deep breath being taken. What a moment in this match this could turn out to be. It's James Milner. Sends the keeper the wrong way. Slots it into the bottom corner. And Brighton and Hove Albion are level at the Amex Stadium. Nerveless from the experienced campaigner James Milner, who pays tribute to Diogo Jota. Quality spot kick from James Milner. Right in the corner, and even if James Trafford had dived the right way, he wasn't going to get to it. And now it's game on for Brighton and Hove Albion. They've made that quadruple substitution. They've got the fresh legs. They've got the equalizer now. And they've got about 23 minutes plus stoppage time to try and get a winner here against Manchester City. They did this last season. Remind you that they were down 1-0. Hinchelwood scored the winner. That was a performance that really made me sit up and take note about Fabian Hertzler. Wise beyond his tender age in management, City will be coming out with renewed optimism here. Yet to make a change. Oh, they've given the ball away, but Rodri quickly onto the scene. He wins the free kick in a very clever manner there. Just steps across. He knows that he was under pressure. Knocks that nicely there. Free kick opportunity for Manchester City. It was in a similar situation where Brighton capitalised. Lewis Dunk was in acres of space at the far stick. No one picked him out. The effort rattled against the outstretched arm of Matheus Nunes. And James Milner from the spot, converting to equalise for Brighton and Hove Albion. And it really does set up the last 20 minutes brilliantly. Reinders with the ball into the box. Verbruggen brilliantly off his line. Good claiming there from the Dutch keeper. Can yet to see too much of Haaland in the second half. Manchester City need to get the ball to their marksman there, as Rutter might be fouled there by Ait Nouri. I think he has fouled him and he'll pick up a yellow card. Brighton asking a lot more questions of Manchester City in the second half. The long balls are working for Fabian Hürzeler. Another yellow card for a City defender. Good pick out this from Verbruggen, because he knows that Jorginho Rutter is a powerful presence in the forward areas. A different proposition to Danny Welbeck, who's a lot more intricate with his play. Rutter's got feet, but he's also a powerful unit. Yellow card for Kusanov. Now yellow card for Ait Nouri. Especially Ait Nouri has to be careful, because on that left-hand side, when he looks to defend, he's got Yankuba Minte running at him at full clip. Could be dangerous situations here. Well, Brighton and Hove Albion won the penalty from a similar spot when they took the free kick. This time, are they going to assign someone to Lewis Dunk, who might just make that run towards the far stick again? It's a left-footed ball. No, it's right-footed into the far stick again. Lewis Dunk, this time making a central run. And no one really putting the pressure on him. The free kick left a bit wanting. Final 20 minutes of action remain here at the Amex Stadium. Yep, it's a clear handball by Matheus Nunes. Just try to keep it close to his body, but as soon as you stick it out that way in the box, you're asking for the decision to go in your favour, which very rarely does as a defender. Again, Trafford put under pressure. Clip pass to Marmoush is good, but the diminutive Egyptian had to do a lot there to try and bring the ball under control. And good playing out the back here. De Kuyper has looked comfortable with the ball at his feet. And a big switch out there in the forward areas. As Brahan Gruda has made his way forward. Good work there from the German under-21. Brilliant from Minte. The nutmeg works. It's Yankuba Minte! Oh, it's just wide. Sensational play from the Gambian winger. Gruda just teases the ball forward. Wow, what bit of skill and close control that is from Yankuba Minte. And James Trafford at full stretch is hoping that the ball doesn't have enough curl on it. Brighton are well and truly back in this game now. Pep using his only attacking option off the bench. He's bringing on Jeremy Doku and Nico O'Reilly for Bernardo Silva and Omar Marmoush. Pep Guardiola responding with a double substitution here after Fabian Hürzeler had made a quadruple substitution in the 60th minute. Since then, Brighton have equalised and had a chance here to try and get the second and overturn that first half deficit. Pep Guardiola would have been thirsting for a victory just before the international break. He's made quite a few signings both in the January transfer window and now in the summer window. Pep has spent money, he's gotten a lot of players, but he's not been able to strike the balance of old, has he? Quite a few big players like Kevin De Bruyne. How do you replace Kevin De Bruyne, do you? But he's got creativity in the likes of Tijani Reinders and Ryan Cherki, so maybe not De Bruyne, but he's got two players who might be that creative spark for Manchester City, especially in those number 10 positions. Here's Riley, looks to just cushion the ball. Instead, Brighton pinch it. And now Brighton are looking to play a lot further forward here. at the position in the last 10 minutes. The game has flipped on its head here. It's another long ball forward to Kusanov. Remember, he's on a yellow card. Ruta does brilliantly there. Mitoma. It's Milner. Oh, there was a chance there. They've asked for the penalty. Gruder's bundled over. Does so well to make the run forward. Brighton again on the counter-attack. They've got a different target man in Jorginho Ruta now, and he is making himself a real nuisance for the Manchester City centre-halves here. Ooh, that might have been a foul, you know. Ooh, Kusanov has raked onto the top of Brahan Gruder's feet. Now, if they have a look at this one, this could very easily be a penalty. Oh my goodness, Pep's head is going to be sent into mass. Oh, that's a clear penalty. If you have a look at that. Oh, Kusanov is very fortunate. If that decision doesn't go in his favor, because the only reason why Gruder will not get the penalty is because maybe he did not have the ball under control. Whoa, Kusanov has gotten away with that one. He really has gotten away with that one. It's a clear foul. He has raked on top of the shin pads of Gruder. Risky, very risky from Kusanov. Talked about just his rashness, where he has to try and curtail that if he is to be a consistent member in the Pep Guardiola back four, as Van Hecke's clever pass just opens it up for Brighton, but they can't take advantage of the clip pass into the channel. Well, the temperature has risen at the Amex Stadium. There's real jeopardy in this match now. Push ball forward here. Riley works it to Jeremy Doku to do substitutes, looking to combine on the left-hand side here. Jeremy Doku. He's dangerous in the box. He's unpredictable. You don't know which side he's going to shimmy with pace. Here's Nunes. Into the last 15 minutes here for Manchester City. Not the start that they were looking for heading into this campaign. They won against Wolves, got roundly beaten at home to Spurs, and now look like they can't close this game against Fabian Hurtzler's Brighton and Hove Albion. But from credit to Brighton, they haven't panicked at any point in this match. They've continued to play in the manner that really have made them a dangerous outfit, especially at home. Here's Reinders, now dropping considerably deeper. He's played a nice line breaker to Rodri. Sweeps it with his left foot onto the right-hand side. Here's Oscar Bob now. Again, I'm surprised that Omar Marmoush made his way for Jeremy Doku. Bob goes on the outside. Doubled up brilliantly by the Brighton work. Superb work there. And now Brighton leading the counter-attack. Manchester City looking a bit tired. Not flooding the bodies back. Again, clip pass there by the keeper, easily intercepted by Rodri. Here's Nico O'Reilly. Referee waves play on. Riley with the effort. Takes a deflection of Van Hecke for a corner. Manchester City looking to up the tempo. Joel Veltman picking up a yellow card for the challenge leading up to that shot. Rodri's. Oh, it was a clear foul there by Veltman on the back of Jeremy Doku. And the yellow cards are starting to flood in here. And it's Manchester City now with a set-piece opportunity. Critical moment in this match here. Trying to get the ball towards Haaland. Haaland's header! Well over the crossbar. Well, that was the first real opportunity that Haaland has had in the second half. It's from a corner. Gets a good leap on it. Again, a long ball forward to Verbruggen, and the run was made and was timed as onside. Trafford had to sweep up well, and he did. Again, for all the signings that Manchester City have made, they are looking particularly thin in the forward areas, aren't they? They don't really have a natural substitute for Erling Haaland. No, look, you don't take off Haaland, do you? But there's no one on the bench. They've loaned out McAtee. They sold Julian Alvarez last season to Atletico Madrid. Haven't really replaced anyone to take on that Just add another presence in the forward areas. Say no Phil Foden. Savinho is injured and he was subjected to a bit of a move to Tottenham Hotspur, wasn't he? But Spurs since then have pivoted and gone for Xavi Simons. Here's Lewis Dunk. Another long ball forward. Trafford has swept up nicely, hasn't he? Brighton looking for a way out here. City looking to dominate the final phase of the game here with possession. Brighton in the second half have not just competed, but they have showed glimpses that they're more than capable of going the distance here. Nico Riley lost out on a couple of occasions here, and he's now looking to just push and run past the challenge, and the decision goes against Manchester City. Yankuba Minte helps out defensively yet again. How many times have we said that in this match so far? Here's James Milner. Ruter, he's picked his head up. It's a clever pass. Karo Mitoma looking to shift it and just shoot into the corner. Well blocked there by Nunes. Dangerous situation there for Manchester City. They were caught cold. Again, Jorginho Ruter, his change has been a real positive for Brighton and Hove Albion. Here's Van Hecke on the right-hand side. Here's Brahan Gruder trying to take on Aït-Nouri, who's got a yellow card. Oh, there's a lack of communication, but the foul has been given against Gruder on that occasion. Aït-Nouri doing well defensively. Hasn't gotten too far forward, has he, for Manchester City in the second half. Talked about missing pieces for City. They are without Josko Guardiola. Mind you, he is as dynamic as they come on that left-hand side. If I'm not mistaken, he was the second highest scorer for Manchester City behind Haaland last season in the Premier League. It's a huge source of goals as well with his defensive work, his ball carrying abilities, and his overall leadership. Again, cushion header here. Riley has somehow found Rodri and he gets it back. Brilliant play from the two midfielders. Now Manchester City looking to burst their way forward here. 10 minutes remain. Doku to Rodri. Here's Reinders. Immediately closed down. Good feed there from Tijani Reinders. Bob to Nunes. This is good work from City. Oscar Bob on the right-hand side. Clips the pass, but the quality on the pass is lackluster to say the very least. City build up nicely in the Brighton box, but the quality of the final pass lacking from the young Norwegian. Again, Reinders showcasing his footwork. Rodri helping out in the build-up. But it's the final pass that has been just missing for Manchester City, especially in the second half. Chances to Haaland has dried up here. Again, Brighton looking to bypass the City press with long balls forward. Here's Ruter on the left-hand side. Ruter takes a snapshot straight down the throat of James Trafford. Jorginho Ruter is so dynamic in the forward areas. Makes you wonder why he didn't start the game for Brighton and Hove Albion. Here's Rodri baiting the press. City forced to go long. Riley has got height, but he's lost out on yet another duel. A forward pass there by Van Hecke was the right idea. Looking to find Brahan Gruder on that occasion, but not finding the pass. Ayari looking to put the press on Rodri gets away from the challenge beautifully there and then clips the pass onto the right-hand side to Tijani Reinders. He's got Oscar Bob for company on the right-hand side. Decides to drive with the ball himself. Brilliant feet there, but he's been muscled off the ball. Again, taking far too many touches there, Reinders. Here's Van Hecke. Ayari. Again, Brighton build out the back so smoothly here. And now Minte can run at Kusanov. Kusanov is already on a yellow card. Has to be careful. Here's Minte. Yankuba Minte. Brilliant play here. What a clever flick that nearly turned out to be by Karo Mitoma to Jorginho Ruter. Again, Brighton so dangerous on the counterattacks. Very dangerous. Such pace in those forward areas. Here's De Kuiper. Ayari. Brighton have taken control of the game here since Ayari has come on. Midfield has changed. A left-footed drive there from Gruder. Save there from Trafford. But Brighton had just the one effort on goal. They've had 6 in the second half. The change in tactics, the change in personnel working here for Brighton and Hove Albion as Abdulkadir Kusanov has taken his place on the ground here. Has his race been run? Heading into the final phase of the match. Doesn't look too good from his point of view. Has swept up the play nicely on multiple occasions, the Uzbeki centre half, but he has been rash on a few occasions too. It's that balance that they'll want to try and change here. Well, just under 45 minutes remain here before the start of the blockbuster clash between Liverpool and Arsenal. Remember that Chelsea are at this stage top of the league with 7 points out of 3 games. Liverpool and Arsenal both have had perfect starts to their campaigns. Arsenal yet to concede a goal in the Premier League so far in the 2 games that they've played. 1-0 victory against Manchester United in the opening game, and then a 5-0 demolition at home to Leeds United on the day Ebre Eze was unveiled to the adoring Arsenal fans. And as for Liverpool, well, they've had thrilling games in defense of their title. Started off with that 4-3 win against Bournemouth. They were 2-0 up. They blew the 2-goal advantage. Brighton, courtesy of Semenyo, came back with 2 tremendous goals. Federico Chiesa scoring in the 89th minute and Mo Salah adding the 4th. And against Newcastle United in the Isak derby, well, that game had everything dented. Liverpool took the early lead courtesy of Hugo Ekitike with 2 goals in 2 games for him. The red card to Anthony Gordon's challenge on Virgil van Dijk just before the half-time whistle changed the game for Newcastle United, and Liverpool scored 20 seconds into the second half. Hugo Ekitike with 2 goals in 2 matches for him after Gravenberch opened the scoring, but Newcastle showing their comeback skills and using their crowd to their advantage, pulling 2 goals back courtesy of Osula and Bruno Guimaraes, and then their hearts were broken in the last minute of stoppage time. Rio Ngumo scoring his first Premier League goal, the youngest goal scorer in Liverpool Premier League history, 16 years and about 100 odd days. Special moment for the former Chelsea youngster, as Brighton now have a free kick. Under 5 minutes to go here in the second half. Manchester City just looking like they might just run out of ideas here as Brighton look to take advantage of this free kick here. De Kuiper on his left foot has taken responsibilities in terms of set pieces, especially with the left footed needed here. Can they target one of the centre halves here in Van Hecke or Lewis Dunk here? Manchester City have made that change. Abdulkadir Kusanov coming off for Ruben Diaz, who had taken the captain's armband for the last 5 minutes. His box defending will be crucial as Brighton float this ball into the box by Max Kupaya. As the ball in, doesn't stay in. It's a wasted ball into the box there from Maxim de Kuiper. Fabian Hertzler urging his team forward. He would have sensed that this game is there to be won from a Brighton perspective after a disappointing first half. Second half, they were finding it a bit difficult to try and get their way with some sort of a foothold. But once the penalty was converted by James Milner, since then Brighton have been the better side. Yankuba Minte, Kaoru Mitoma, Jorginho Ruta asking so many questions. Mitoma, again, he's got runners forward. On his left foot, the block is brilliant there from Ruben Diaz. The 2 substitutes locking horns. There's Brahan Gruda on that right-hand side, just looking to open up on his left foot. Try and curl it past Trafford. And the throw-in taken. No one really putting any sort of pressure there on Ruta. The corner has been given. It's Brighton asking all the questions in the final 3 minutes of normal time. Jorginho Ruta has completely changed the game here for Brighton and Hove Albion. Manchester City now holding on as Brighton have their 3rd corner. Again, it's a left footer, which might mean it's Maxim de Kuiper looking to take this corner. Gruda is also an option if they want to switch things up in terms of set piece taking. Manchester City fans will have their hearts in their mouth here after that dominant first half, completely neutralized in the second as the ball has been delivered into the box here. Dunk's header, Van Hecke from close range. What a save by Trafford. Danger still not cleared, and now he can collect the danger. What a save from point blank range from James Trafford. Well, Van Hecke's header, well, it's his left-footed effort rather, had taken a wicked deflection. Might have been of John Stones or Rodri. It was from Rodri. Oh, he's done so well there. Trafford claws it out. It's almost behind him as well to keep Manchester City in this game. Another counter-attack opportunity. They get this right here. And now they're through on goal. It's Gruder. Takes a good touch. Gruder sets it down. Gruder! Brighton and Hove Albion have turned things around. Wow, what a goal. Incredible composure from the substitute. And look at the Amex Stadium. They have exploded in celebration. Brahan Gruder, with the composure of his lifetime, to sit down the goalkeeper, sit down the challenge. And Brighton and Hove Albion have done it again. Everybody's on side here. The touch from Reuter's brilliant. The through ball to Gruder's excellent. And look at that for composure. John Stones loses out the duel. And then Reuter's touch is clever. Mitoma's through pass is beautiful. And how about that for a chop? And a right foot, side foot finish from Brahan Gruder. An inspired substitution from the 32-year-old manager Fabian Hertzler, who celebrates with his home crowd. Look at the scenes at the dugout. Brighton totally deserve it for the second half performance that they have put on here. And Manchester City are stoppage time away from back-to-back defeats in the Premier League. Wow. You wouldn't have predicted that after the first half. But Brahan Gruder, brilliant there from Doku, trying to get his way forward. Brighton defending for their lives here. And now that counter-attack isn't really available. Look at Mitoma run here in the 91st minute. He has chased down Rico Lewis. Will be a throw-in for Manchester City, who have to throw the kitchen sink now at Brighton. They did this last season, didn't they? They were 1-0 down. Hinchelwood scored after the equaliser. Brighton turned it around on that evening in a rainy night at the Amex Stadium. And now with the sun beaming down here in Brighton, they have overturned yet another deficit. Here's O'Reilly. He's not done well since coming on. Has lost quite a few duels against him. And now City have about 6 minutes of the 7 of the stoppage time remaining here to try and pull a goal back. What a goal that was from Brighton. Again, they have threatened Manchester City in the central areas multiple times. We saw Mitoma and Minte have opportunities in those central areas. This time they've just added Reuter to that as a focal point, and he has changed the game. What a player Jorginho Reuter is. German connection for the goal there for Brighton and Hove Albion. Here's Stones, whose misplaced clearance was the catalyst for Brighton's counter-attack there. Ait Nouri. Here's Doku, who's not really had the impact, but he is quick and tries to get past Minte. Minte, brilliant. He is one of the candidates for man of the match for me, man. Yankuba Minte has really worked his socks off. Defensively brilliant. He's done so well to be that attacking outlet for Brighton when they do look to counter-attack. Mitoma and, of course, Gruder's finish. Well, James Trafford has had to make some big saves. He's pretty much powerless when Gruder was bearing down on goal. Well, the substitutes combining on that occasion just shows you that Brighton have a bit more on the bench compared to Manchester City. As you mentioned before, the two changes that they've made was Jeremy Doku and Rico Lewis. Now, how much does that change for Manchester City? You have to ask the question, as Pep Guardiola is scratching his head for answers. Pretty much forgave him for last season, despite them finishing third, but they were trophyless, which very rarely happens in a Pep Guardiola season. He almost said that that was a one-off season in the 10 that he's been here. And Brighton looking to add the third. It's Ruter. Again, look at the ball. He's so strong. Keeps his feet. Oh, there was a chance there. Right-footed effort from De Kuyper, who really made his way forward. Tried to take that on his right foot. And now City looking to break, but Brighton just looked the fitter, the sharper, the stronger team. With under 4 minutes of stoppage time remain, the Brighton fans will be dying for that final whistle, looking for their first win of the campaign. And what a win this would be against Manchester City at home, being down a Haaland goal, showing great courage, excellent character, to find themselves into stoppage time here, as I think Yankuba Minte's afternoon has come to an end. And finally, and I say that with so much sympathy for the effort and work that Yankuba Minte has put on for 94 minutes, he will get the loudest of applause, and as he should. Superb performance from him, as Diego Coppola, the number 42 for Brighton, replacing Yankuba Minte, the Italian footballer, centre half, coming on here to shore things up for Brighton and Hove Albion as they look to see this lead out. With just under 3 minutes of stoppage time remain, the Brighton fans with smiles plastered on their collective faces. All 5 substitutions made by Fabian Hertzler, heading into the international break with a victory over Pep Guardiola and Manchester City will be a huge shot in the arm for Fabian Hertzler. 2 minutes of stoppage time remain here. City looking for long balls to Haaland, which has barely seen any action in the second half. And look at Jorginho Rutter at the other end. He has been a menace. He's been a thorn to the City backline. Time running out for Manchester City. Here's Ait Nouri. Doku looking to take on Veltman. Doesn't decide to take him on. There's a strange decision there. Brilliant header. Haaland takes the loose ball. The sliced effort is well wide, but it finds Doku. City keep it alive though. Here's Rodri again. Again a scoop pass in. Reinders' header. It's just wide. Best opportunity for Manchester City at the death. It was Tijani Reinders who was unmarked in the box. Brilliant pick out there by Rodri. I think it's a tremendous block by Van Hecker. Reads the danger. Well, Reinders would have thought, and the corner hasn't been given. It was a clear block and a deflection for a corner. Hasn't been spotted there by the referee. Brighton get away with that one and they can further run down the clock. They're nearly there to pull off one of their big scalps of the season. Fabian Hertzler beating Pep Guardiola last season, beating him again this season. Another feather in the cap of the 32-year-old German manager rather. Time running out here for Manchester City. Well, how well have Brighton and Hove Albion done? Supreme play from them. They're nearly there. 7 minutes of stoppage time has been played. The referee might just add on another minute here as Brighton keep the ball deep into City territory. Mitoma does well. Rutter takes the ball. The foul might be given. It's gone against Brighton. City looking to get a quick move on here. Time really running out there on borrowed time here. Here's Reinders. Nico O'Reilly driving with the ball onto the left-hand side. Jeremy Doku now has to take on Veltman. Here's Doku. Again, he decides to go back. A shot from distance. Well, it's Reinders rather, who's had a couple of shots on goal. This time from distance. Time really up now. Fabian Hertzler's waiting to burst into celebration here. What a job he has done on Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. He's waiting for the final whistle, hasn't he? 8 minutes of stoppage time has been played. But Verbruggen taking his own sweet time before he releases this one. James Milner scored the penalty. And Gruder scored that composed finish right at the end here for Brighton. And that will be that. Fabian Hertzler with yet another massive scalp in his young managerial career, overturning a 1-0 half-time deficit to Erling Haaland in the second half. Well, he showed his managerial chops, didn't he? He made the changes. He got the goal courtesy of the James Milner penalty, but the substitutes all combining for that second goal, which was a thing of beauty. Jorginho Rutter was a huge part of Brighton's success. His layoff to Kaoru Mitoma, who played the through pass to Brahan Gruder, who showed unbelievable composure to sit down a defender and the goalkeeper to slot it into the empty net. Full time here at the Amex Stadium.